guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be tackling some books on my TBR that I have been avoiding for the longest time. These are the books that I always think I'm really excited to read this book, but then never pick them up. So I feel quite accomplished after filming this video, actually filming this intro after reading all of these books. So I can confirm we had a really fantastic reading week and I'm really pleased that I've got 3 different books ticked off on my TBR. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do change that right now. I really appreciate it. And let's go through the books that I'm going to be picking up in this video so that you can have a bit of a taste of what is to come. So the first book I picked up was Ghosted by J.M. Darhower. This one is a second chance romance. Then I picked up The Match by Sarah Adams, which is like a cutesy little rom-com-y style book where she works at a service dog company and he is looking at potentially buying a service dog for his daughter. So that's like a single dad trope as well. And then the last book I picked up, which I actually finished last night, was Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. This is one that I've been putting off because I just knew it was going to be really sad and really impactful, and I wanted to make sure I was in like the right headspace to read this book. In this book, we're following Iris, who is in a relationship with a pro basketball player and she's in a pretty abusive relationship. Those are the books that we've tackled this week, so I hope you enjoy my thoughts on all of these books, and let's get straight on into the video. Hey guys, it is Tuesday evening right now. I have been in the office all day today, but I just wanted to, now that I've got home, give you a little update on our first book, share what our first book is, and also give you a little bit of a reading update because I am 30% of the way through this book. So I have actually picked up Ghosted for my first book of this video because I feel like this is one that I really have been putting off for quite a long time. It's been on my TBR for ages. I actually got this from a car boot sale for £1. So it was one that I picked up that wasn't like top of my radar, but I was kind of interested in it, so I picked it up. So I think that's why I haven't picked it up yet, because again, it was just never like tip top of the TBR for me. But I've heard really great things about this and I just felt like compelled to pick this up right now. So I'm glad we finally got into this book and I am really enjoying it so far. As I said, 30% of the way through this book, which is 140 pages in, so I've read this much so far. This is a second chance romance and I tend to love a second chance romance, to be fair, so I don't know why I've put this off for so long. I know this is also one of Sarah Caroli's favourite books. There's also a super cute kid in this book. Maddie is carrying this book so far. Maddie is just such a sweetheart. So the premise of this book is you have Kennedy and Jonathan, and we have the before of when they were in school meeting and how they kind of got together when they were kids, and then you're following Kennedy's perspective in the now timeline. Kennedy has a daughter called Maddie. Maddie is 5. And Maddie's dad is Jonathan, who is the man in the before chapters. But Jonathan is actually a really famous actor. He's in these like movies which I can only compare to like Marvel movies, so he's a pretty famous actor, always has like paparazzi around him. The tabloids are always posting like fake news about Jonathan, and Jonathan has not been present in Maddie's life at all due to Kennedy basically shutting him out because he was dealing with alcoholism for a very long time, and I think he did some things in the past that was just unforgivable. We haven't really found out what that is yet, but clearly it was bad enough for her to cut him out of both of their lives and not let him see his daughter. So he's kind of come back into the picture now that he's actually sober. He obviously wants to be part of his daughter's life, but his daughter is actually obsessed with these movies that he's in, and his daughter doesn't know that he is the dad. So it's a really sweet kind of plot because obviously Maddie sees her dad as this superhero because that's what she knows him as. So when Maddie meets this guy in person, not realising it's her dad, she is like obsessed with him and has very high expectations for him. But that's why Kennedy is even more reluctant to introduce him to his daughter because she's put him on such a pedestal already and she's like worried that he's going to basically screw them over again, understandably. I feel like there's some books that you have put off for like a really long time and there's a reason for it, probably because you know deep down in your heart that you weren't going to enjoy it and it's probably not for you anymore. But this is not the case at all. I genuinely just never had this on the top of my radar. I feel like this is going to be definitely at least a 4-star read for me, but I will update you when I'm a bit further on in this book. I'm just really loving so far. Guys, I thought I would check in with you now because I have actually finished Ghosted. I finished this last night and I just love this book so much. This was actually a 4.5 star read for me, and I just thought it was like one of the most perfect second chance romances. It was written so well with the now and then timeline. The then timeline was written from like the main female character's notebook back in the day, because she was like always wanting to like grow up and be an author, so she was writing their story back in the day, so it seems very like accurate and just from her feelings, and I just thought it was so good. I loved this book so much. I don't know why I've been putting this off for so long. This is your sign to go and pick up some of those books that weren't ever top tip of your TBR, top tip. But yeah, I would 100% recommend this, especially for like this time of year. I feel like it's a really good one. It's definitely not too summery. Maddie was just such a little sweetheart. She was honestly one of my favourite like child characters out of any book. She was just so cute, and her emotions were so obvious and like realistic of how a child would be feeling and reacting to these scenarios. And then last night I actually settled down and chose my next book for this video, which I have already DNF'd. So this is a book that I have put on genuinely countless TBRs, but I've been like so excited for it but very intimidated by it. And I think I was intimidated for a good reason, because I read 30 pages of this last night and have decided to put this down. And I think I will be listing this book on my Vinted because I don't see myself going and picking it back up. That book in question is Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. Style of writing that is in this is just not for me, I don't think. It was really complicated and really like, I don't even know how to word it. Like it just felt overcomplicated, and I didn't want to read 500 pages of that overcomplicatedness. I'm sure her writing is really good, but it just feels like it was going a little bit over my head, and I feel like this book just felt too intellectual for me. I know that sounds ridiculous, and it sounds like I'm saying that I am too stupid for this book, but potentially that is the case. I enjoy reading for escapism, and I love just like getting hooked into a book and binging a book. This one doesn't feel like one that I could have binged at all. I feel like it would have taken me like honestly 3 weeks to read. I don't think it would have helped with me not going into a slump. I wasn't enjoying it the first 30 pages like at all in terms of the writing style. I think it's just, she uses a lot of words to describe not a lot, and I love lyrical writing like an Abby Jimenez or a Magnolia Parks, but this just felt different for me. It felt like something I would be given, I guess, in English class for GCSEs. But anyway, we gave it a try. I'm glad I got it off of my TBR because I'm going to be selling it, and then now we need to decide what we're actually going to pick up. I really don't know what I'm in the mood for. I kind of still feel like I'm on my Kindle reading grind right now. So Quicksilver by Callie Hart, could do that one. That one has also been on plenty of TBRs and I'm just intimidated by it. On a similar note though, we've got Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. That one is actually on my physical TBR and on my November TBR, so maybe we do Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. Okay, I did a little bit of having a look at my Kindle and seeing what was on there, and also went downstairs and looked at my bookshelves, and I have two options for my next book, which both happen to be on my November TBR, so if I could get these off, that would be fantastic, and I would be reading my November TBR, which I set for myself, so it'd be a great way to kind of weave that into a video and read these together. So maybe these will be my next two books, we will see. I'll definitely pick one of them now. We've either got Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. This one is gonna hurt my feelings, and it's quite a long one also. I think it's about like an abusive relationship, if I am correct. I've heard people also compare this to A Love Letter to Whiskey, which I read last week and didn't love. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe I will love this one, and I just have really high hopes for this. I don't know, I am really excited to pick this one up. But we also, on the other hand, have got The Match by Sarah Adams, which is a really cutesy little rom-com that I could fly through. Hey, I actually did start my new book, and I have decided to go with The Match by Sarah Adams, just because I wanted something a little bit more happy and uplifting for the weekend, because sometimes when I read sad books it puts me in a really sad, depressive state, and I don't want that for this weekend. So maybe we can read Long Shot next week, because it's currently Saturday, so I'll probably spend today and tomorrow reading The Match, and then yeah, Long Shot can be started on like Monday or something. But I just got my nails done for November. I am loving them. They're very like brown autumn coded. I feel like I was deciding whether to get Christmas nails or not, but decided not to for this one, and then maybe next time I can get Christmas nails. I also just popped into M&S and got some bits for lunch, but look what I found in M&S. Oh, first of all, I got like the coziest, cutest thermal socks. And then I found these like cinnamon yum buns. They're like yum yums mixed with cinnabuns. These look amazing. I cannot wait to try them. And then I just got a load more shopping because I aspire to be an M&S girly. I've started the match this morning. I'm probably on about page 50. I'm really enjoying the meet cute so far, although he was so rude to her on first meeting. I understand that Sarah Adams would have wanted him to come across as a prick, and that is exactly what he has come across like. I do not like him so far. He is dealing with a lot, fair enough, like we already have got a lot of his backstory and family situation, but there's no need to be that horrible and rude to someone. I also think he was being a bit mean to his daughter. Basically, the situation of this is you have the main character who works for this Southern Service Paws company, which is a service dog company because our main character has epilepsy, so she has this service dog herself to help with her seizures, and the dog will obviously be a service dog for her if there's any sign that she's going to be having a seizure. The dog is basically there to assist and help her. So really amazing thing. Obviously service dogs are incredible. I literally cannot believe they can be trained and get so clever. He also works for the company that supplies and trains these service dogs. And then we have our main male character who is a single dad right now, and he has a daughter who has epilepsy as well. His daughter has been asking for a service dog for ages. She really wants a service dog. She thinks that it will make her feel safer, and she's just really trying to convince her dad right now to let her have a service dog, which is a pretty fair request for a child. But the dad is so against it, and I'm that is kind of cruel. He is wanting to take on all the responsibility of caring for her, and he's clearly got a lot weighing on his mind. He's always worried if she's in the shower, is she gonna have a seizure, which is obviously really scary as a dad, and having a service dog would make so much sense for them. But the meet cute in this was basically the daughter and the dad going to meet with the main female character to talk about the service dogs, but it was actually the daughter that set this up and kind of tricked the dad into going and finding out more information and meeting at this coffee shop. Hopefully that made sense, and that kind of explains the setup of this book. But I think the reason I've been putting this off for so long is because I love Sarah Adams. I love her writing. I love her When in Rome series. I loved the Rule Book. The Rule Book is one of my favourite ever second chance romances. I adore that book so much. So I love Sarah Adams writing, but I think I've just been nervous that these are some of her earlier books and they're not gonna be as good because they're not as recently written, and I know she's probably improved her skills in writing since then, so that's why I think I've been putting this book off. But I'm so far really enjoying. I've actually highlighted and underlined so many things so far, so I'm again having a smashing time. I will give you a bit of an update when I'm a bit further in. It is the next day now. I'm in my car again because I've just driven an hour to come and get my hair extensions refit. So I've been listening to The Match as an audiobook on the way here. Tell me why I'm literally giggling, screaming, squealing. I'm obsessed with this book. I remember I was worried that it wouldn't be as good as her current books, but honestly, if you told me this book had just come out last week, I would have believed you because this is so good. It's not descriptive. She doesn't just describe how things are. She just uses these interesting ways of wording things that just makes it just so engaging and fun. That hour drive genuinely felt like half an hour because I was just giggling and having a fantastic time. So yeah, I'm now 35% of the way through this book, so I actually have a long way to go. But I just wanted to check in and let you know that this is giving me 5-star feelings. Maybe. Good evening. It's actually a couple of days later now, and so I thought I wanted to check in with you. I have actually finished The Match by Sarah Adams. Please ignore how crazy I look right now. I just put on this face mask and it actually has to be on for 3 to 4 hours. So until it goes clear. It's one of those viral ones on TikTok, but it's a niacinamide one. I'll put it on the screen in case you're interested. I literally cannot take myself seriously right now. I look absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, it's been a few days since I finished The Match by Sarah Adams, and I just wanted to give you my full thoughts and opinions. I think in my last clip I said it's actually really quite hard to talk with this one, but I think in my last clip I said this was giving me 5-star energy. I'm settling on 4 stars. It wasn't actually a 5-star read for me. I think I was just really enjoying that part of the book that I was in, and the audiobook of this was also really good. So I was really enjoying the audiobook when I was travelling from and to my hair appointment. This was a really sweet book and I would highly recommend it. I would say this is probably in my top 3 Sarah Adams books alongside Big Burrow and Steel, and also the Rule Book. They are my two favourite Sarah Adams books, but this one would probably be third. I really enjoyed this. I loved the epilepsy representation in this, the service dog representation. I think if someone was to read this and they had a condition that could maybe use a service dog, I feel like it would be actually really quite educational on what it's like and the benefits of it. I really loved Evie as a main female character. She was just so genuine, and she came from a family of like really rich parents. It almost gave me like Gilmore Girls vibes, in the way that in Gilmore Girls Lorelai left what she had with her rich parents to start her own new life, and she didn't want to accept money from her parents. She wanted to make it herself because she didn't want what her parents wanted for her, and I think that was really brave of her. And she was just such a genuine, loving girl. She was so kind, she wasn't selfish at all, and she dealt with a lot with her parents, to be honest. So that was a really interesting aspect of this. I also thought that Jacob was a really mature, lovely book boyfriend. I know at the start he was made to be seemed like this awful man and he was horrible, but like there was reasons for all of it. He was hurt. He was also just trying to protect him and his daughter in the way that he best knew how to, which didn't come across well at the start, but he was kind of blindsided by going to this meeting without realising what was actually happening. I also think the third act conflict in this was really good. It was a little bit of miscommunication, but with external sources, which made it really believable. This was just a really fun, playful, well-written, good book. Like, this was a really good romance, a solid 4 stars. So yeah, I'm really glad I picked this one up. As I said, this one is one I've been avoiding for a little while because I was worried that it wouldn't match up to the rest of her stuff. My next book is Long Shots by Kennedy Ryan. I have been putting this book off because I was really nervous that it was gonna like break my heart. I also had really high expectations for it, but I knew it was going to be heavy, so I wanted to wait until I was like in the right mindset to pick this book up. Sorry, I'm looking at myself and I just cannot take myself seriously. Oh my god, I look so hilarious. Maybe I'll do a thumbnail like this. That would probably be quite funny, actually. Anyway, so I finally decided to pick this book up, and let me insert a few clips here and you'll understand how I'm currently feeling about this book so far. This book is killing me. I'm literally walking, I'm in Bath at the moment, just walking up to work. I've literally been crying. This is so sad. But like a really good book, but like really sad. Okay, so let me talk to you about Long Shots. I am about 300 pages into this book now, and I think this is going to be a 5-star read. Like, this is such a good video so far. This book has connected with me so well. It's really sad though, and I really do encourage you all to check the trigger warnings for this book because it's been really hard to read at some point. I was literally walking up to my office yesterday in Bath from the train station with this audiobook in my ears, because how I tend to get through books faster, and I find it really like an immersive experience, to when I'm at home I sit and actually read the book, but then when I'm out and about I find the Spotify audiobook and actually just like listen to bits in between, and then I can find where I am in the book and then carry on reading it physically. So I do a mix just so I can actually get books done quicker, because I find that I tend to rate books higher when I can like read them in a shorter period. So in this book we are following our main female character Iris, and at the start of this book Iris is in a relationship with a guy called Caleb, and Caleb is a pro basketball player. He's like trying to get into the NBA, and they've been kind of like childhood sweethearts, and Iris has always wanted to make a career for herself as well. She's never wanted to rely on Caleb, even though they've been together for a while. I think Iris kind of saw their relationship as like young love, and she was never like that interested in having an entire life with him. She's kind of figuring out what she wants to do for a job and where she's going to be working, and Caleb is kind of having to go wherever he gets drafted, and Caleb's just assuming that Iris is going to go with him and follow him anywhere, whereas she's got her own dreams, and she actually gets to the point where she's like, should we break up? It all happens very quickly at the start. These aren't really spoilers, by the way, but I feel like I need to explain why this book is so sad and what actually kind of happens in it, but I won't spoil anything, I promise. Iris ends up in a situation that she didn't really want to be in with Caleb, but it kind of ties her to Caleb. So Iris essentially ends up giving up on her own goals for a while, or at least putting them aside because she has to stay with Caleb. And Caleb ends up obviously taking care of her. She moves in with him, he's providing for her whilst he's chasing his dreams of being this like pro basketball player in the NBA. And over time, we're following them over quite a long time period. Caleb is just like one of the worst men I've ever read about. He is abusive, he's horrible, he's manipulative, he's controlling, and it's really, really difficult to read about because he's just a horrible man. He genuinely makes me scared of all men. And you say it's not all men, but it's some men, and people like Caleb do exist in the real world, which is why this is so scary, because it's also made me understand a lot more deeply about when people are in these relationships, about why it is so hard to leave, because again, people are saying that they're like, oh, if I was in an abusive relationship, I would just leave. The first time a man lays their hands on me, I would just leave. But actually it's not as easy as that at all, and these things are so complicated, and the ways that these men get manipulative is over a long time. It's not just an instant thing, it's not just something you can just get out of, because by the time that they're doing this to you, you're so connected and woven into their lives. They make you rely on them, and the ways that he was manipulating her, getting the police involved, gaslighting people, gaslighting her, using things as leverage that she had no choice but just to comply with. This might not make sense if you haven't read this book, but I hope what I'm saying is kind of giving you a little bit of insight into how deeply this book has explored abusive relationships, because I have really had my eyes opened to the difficulty of it, because I think it is easy to think that if you got into that situation that you would just leave, but it really is not just as easy as that sometimes, and having to get yourself out of it is so difficult. So that's kind of the setup of this book. And then you've also got this guy who is actually our main male character, August, and August is another pro basketball player on a rivals team to Caleb, and August and Iris actually meet in a bar quite a few years ago. They strike up conversation, they get on really well, and August fancies the crap out of Iris, but Iris is in a relationship with Caleb. Iris didn't want to cheat or anything. She literally tells him straight up, I've got a boyfriend. Obviously he's very disappointed, but he respects it, and then they kind of keep seeing each other at like games every so often. They've got this instant spark, but obviously they can never act on it because she's in a relationship. But Caleb and August obviously end up being rivals on different teams, and they hate each other, so when they're playing each other, there's kind of an unspoken hatred there, not just because they're on rival teams, because Caleb kind of has this inkling that August is in love with his kind of fiance. But I'm at the 300 page mark, which I think is about 60% of the way through this book. Things are starting to look up, and there is a glimmer of hope for us all at this point. I'm really, really hoping and praying for a happy ending here, because I cannot take any more sadness and heartbreak. The things that he was doing to her honestly had me crying, like sobbing, like so sad, so ridiculously sad. So that's where I'm at with this book at the moment. I just wanted to let you know that it is fantastic, well written, with care, but please check your trigger warnings. But I would immediately add this to your TBRs, guys. Hey guys, it's actually the next day now, and I finished this book last night. I literally loved this book with my whole heart. This is a book that will genuinely stick with me forever, and I learned a lot from it. I've seen a lot of different points of view, and I feel like I have more empathy. Not that I didn't have empathy before for people in horrible situations. I am an empath at heart, but now I just feel like I understand it on so much more of a deeper level, and I just think this book is really important, and like I really urge everyone to read this book if you think you could read the triggers and this wouldn't be a problem for you. I just think it was done in such a deep, understanding way. Clearly, Kennedy Ryan has done a lot of research into writing this book, because she put at the start that she only writes when she has something to say, and I 100% see that in this book, because it was just so meaningful. It's clear she'd spoken to so many survivors and written this based on so many different true stories, and it was just a really accurate, interesting portrayal of abuse and manipulations, but it was also written with enough light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, this book was a solid 5 stars. Like, I will think about this forever, and that's what a 5-star feeling is at the end of the day. So 100% 5 stars. I really recommend this book. This reading challenge week has been actually fantastic for me. I feel like I've got some books that I'm like really pleased that I've managed to read, because I've just, again, been putting them off for so long. So we also figured out that Gifted and Talented just wasn't for me. So I've actually ticked 4 books off of my TBR. So thank you guys for watching. If you're still here at this point, I really love and appreciate you. Please do subscribe. I actually saw earlier 85% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you're one of those people, please do change that, and I would just like highly appreciate it. Really trying to grow this channel at the moment. I only started it like probably about a month and a half ago, but I just love reading vlogs. Like, I just love having somewhere to yap in detail about my bookish thoughts. Hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!